Hey, John Paul. It's good to sit down together. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good, William. Can't complain.
Yeah, thanks for making time for this performance appraisal today. We'll take some time between 10 and 15 minutes to reflect on your work over the past year, look at areas where things are going well and where there also might be, opportunities for growth or support. It is also definitely a good moment for us to align on expectations for the coming year. Um, I've put together a brief agenda based on your email and some feedback I've gathered. We'll start with your own reflections and then I'll share some feedback from other colleagues and myself as well. And yeah, topics include your great work on the Junior Davis Cup, your interest in more coaching, and also some challenges around communication with colleagues. Finally, then we'll wrap up with agreements and next steps. And yeah, does that cover what you were hoping to discuss?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate having the chance to talk about all of that, especially the coaching part.
Great, great. But yeah, before we begin, do you have any initial thoughts or questions?
No, I think I'm ready to get into it.
All right. So let's start with the topics you raised in your email first. You mentioned recognition. Can you tell me more about how you're feeling in that area?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I've been very committed to my role, especially with the Junior Davis Cup.
Yeah.
It was a big project, and I think I did a really good job of taking ownership of it. We received a lot of positive feedback from the participants and partners, but I'd say maybe sometimes I feel that work goes unnoticed. I don't necessarily need huge praise personally, but some acknowledgement or encouragement once in a while would be appreciated and would help with my confidence.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for being honest. You're absolutely right for bringing this up. You did make a huge contribution, especially in terms of initiative and the handling complex logistics with the Davis Cup. It was a standout event this year, and I've heard from multiple people and colleagues. So let me take this moment to say definitely well done. I truly appreciate the effort and energy that you brought to that.
Thank you, William. That it does mean a lot. It motivates me when I know what I do is valued, even in small ways like this.
Yeah, no, that's noted. I'll make a more, let's say, conscious effort to offer timely feedback moving forward. Sometimes we get so caught up in the work that we forget the people behind it. So yeah, thank you for the reminder. But now let's talk more about your second point, the coaching. What kind of support or guidance are you hoping for that?
Okay, well, to be honest, I still feel a little unsure in some areas, especially when it comes to internal communication.
Yeah.
I know my Dutch communication style can be direct, and I've been trying to adapt, but I often leave conversations with English colleagues not really knowing where I stand or what to expect. And if I had more one-on-one support from you, maybe every few weeks or so, I think it would help me understand things more clearly.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. It's a challenge. I've seen with other international colleagues as well, and yeah, British workplace culture can be quite indirect, which I understand must feel really frustrating for you coming from a Dutch culture. But how have you been trying to adapt so far?
I've been reading more about cultural communication styles and tried softening my feedback a little bit, but it does feel a little unnatural, to be honest. I just feel like I need clearer cues from others, and I do rarely get them. Yeah, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that is understandable, but for now what I can offer is recurring monthly coaching session. Just the two of us, of course. We'll use that time to review any challenging situations or interactions and explore ways to handle them. We can then also role play, for example, conversations, reflect on tone, and also clarify expectations,
That would be perfect. Sometimes just having a second perspective would already help a lot on feedback and improving certain things.
Yeah, Thank you for sharing that. Now, I would like to also go over the other goals we originally set at the end of your probation. Maintaining, for example, like maintaining client satisfaction, the improve internal communication, and also, lastly but not less importantly, avoid tardiness. Starting with client satisfaction, I have not many concerns there. Your work on the Junior Davis Cup was definitely well received, and our partner organizations expressed their appreciation. And you've definitely maintained high standards and met expectations there.
Yeah, that's super great to hear. I put a lot of effort and energy to make sure the event ran smoothly and that the stakeholders inevitably were happy.
Yeah, no, and it definitely showed. Well done. But now on punctuality, there were some issues early on, which you've acknowledged, but many months now, I've seen no problems at all. You've clearly made adjustments. Can you share what changed for you, by any chance?
At the start, I wasn't like totally clear on expectations, and I had a very unreliable car. Since then, I have gotten a new one and set clearer morning routines. I made it a point not to be late anymore, especially knowing you take it seriously. I have tried to put in that effort.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It does make a huge difference when everyone arrives on time, especially in a collaborative environment. And yeah, the final area is internal communication. I asked a few colleagues for their thoughts, and there's the picture. Everyone sees you definitely as highly capable, reliable, and motivated. But yeah, I'd say that the biggest problem, and for also your colleagues, is the struggle of your communication style. You know, like there seems to be a bit of tension around the tone of interpretation. So yeah.
I mean, I have sensed that too, to be honest. I never intended to come across as blunt, but I know my directness can be a little bit much. Here in Britain, it's just, I think that is a bit of my Dutch culture, and I just wish colleagues were more open instead of always being polite and unclear.
Yeah, no, that's definitely valid point, Jean-Paul, but there's a cultural learning curve for both sides. What I'd suggest is that during our coaching sessions, we can maybe work on practical strategies to bridge the gap, how to express feedback more indirectly, read cues better, and read the room, maybe even invite clearer feedback from colleagues in a way that suits both styles. What do you say about that?
That would be ideal. I want to be understood without having to change who I am like entirely.
Yeah, of course, because that's exactly it. It's about adapting, not erasing who you are. So yeah, to summarize today's appraisal, you've done a truly excellent job with event delivery, and especially the Junior Davis Cup. You've met goals and punctuality and client satisfaction. Communications, remains a development point, and we've agreed to tackle that through monthly coaching. And from my side, I'll also be more proactive in giving regular feedback and recognition. You'll receive a written summary of today's conversation within the next 2 weeks, and then I'll send out a calendar invite for our first coaching session next month. Do you have any final questions or points you'd like to bring up?
No, I do think that we've covered it all. I'm glad that we had this conversation. It did give me some clarity and reassurance, and some points that I can work on, which I'm always happy to hear.
No, yeah, definitely. Likewise. Thank you again for your openness, Jean-Paul. You're doing really well, and I look forward to seeing you continue grow this year. But make sure that you work on everything that we've talked about today, mostly the communication style, but for the rest, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.